Okay, we're about to start the show. I just wanted to say from Antoinette Gorst last week, she said she saw Craig Charles mouthing Craig Ferguson's lines along in one of the scenes. Did that happen quite a bit? Well, watch this show, is what I'm saying. I spotted it again. I've never seen it before, but thanks for the heads up there.
Craig was an absolute mental thing. He could read a page and know it. He did.
Yeah, yeah. She was lucky for him, really. Okay, so this is Me Squared. It's a very important show in terms of the series trajectory. This was the show we wrote during the hiatus between the cancellation and the remount, and it shifted the balance of the whole series. And we started establishing a sort of system of titles as well that felt Red Dwarf. I don't know, I never really put my finger on when it feels like a Red Dwarf title, but you just know it. And Me Squared is a great title. I love this show so much. I was laughing watching it. I haven't seen it in 20, 30 years. I was laughing watching it much more than the audience. It's kind of embarrassing. But we'll answer all those questions at the end. Are you ready to press play, everybody? 3, 2, 1, play. Okay, we've got theme.
And out we come. So this episode I call
Me Too. The proper title has always been Me Squared. This was way before the Me Too movement, and I think it's even more important that we call it Me Squared.
This episode I called the split screen hell for a lot of the time, which is one of the big moves forward with trying to make split screens work. And there's a couple of points in the show where the split screens are worth talking about, because it was quite nerve-wracking for the actors to have to be able to A, play against themselves, and B, play against one person who is duplicated either side of them.
Paul, when we submitted the script and went into rehearsals, made us cut out 3 double rimmer scenes, which broke my heart. He was perfectly right, because, you know, when you're writing it, it's easy, but poor old Ed actually make it.
Was breakdown Ed at the time.
I told them there were too many split screens. We had learned, and Ed was with me on this, we had learned during the young ones, we once spent 4 hours, a whole afternoon block of recording, and you only got 3 blocks of recording. We spent a whole 4 hours recording a chip and a carrot dancing on a greasy plate in the boys' sink in an episode called Boring. Jeff Posner was actually directing that episode. And at the end, at supper break, the writers and ourselves said, never again. That's 10 seconds on screen. It's one joke. We can't afford to spend 4 hours doing that. And when I read this script, I just thought, you know what, guys, we're not going to finish this in the 2 days. Virtually every scene is a split screen, and it just takes too long. So
the pop-up Kama Sutra, I actually had one of those.
Did you?
I got it years later. I was trying to dig it out, but
they sold such a thing.
It got very painful. We threw it out.
It stuck together, didn't it?
There really was such a thing.
There was such a thing. I don't believe that.
Now, here's the unfortunate bit. That was a lack of imagination. That's a VHS he's holding there.
Yeah, I know.
Something slightly more sophisticated than that. Floppy disk would have done.
We had video pellets later on, didn't we? A video slug, we called it, wasn't it?
Yeah, we could have found.
It was not the zero gravity edition of the Kama Sutra. That was a pity.
Pictures off kilter. Never mind. Nobody noticed.
Who ended up with the pop-up Kama Sutra book? I don't know. It was probably just a prop with only one page sticking up.
Yeah.
I love this scene. I really do. They're really zinging now.
That's where we ran out of set, so I've added a bit of set there. That's not normally there, just in front of Chris. We added it on for some of those angles so we could get the camera back to get around on him.
A return, we call that, don't we?
Yeah.
Return?
Yeah. Or a swinger, if it swings in and out.
Oh, I'll got you.
Last of the swingers.
I love this scene. It's really good. Odd Couple, isn't it?
The only time I get anxious is when Chris starts to look at Craig and he's too downstage, and then his single becomes very profile-y. Sorry, that was so dull. Apologies.
Oh, you can see the monitor instead of the mirror, apparently.
Oops.
Yeah, but it changes, doesn't it? It becomes a.
It does change because Holly appears in it every now and then.
Yeah.
No, mind you, it's supposed to be a mirror. Turns into a monitor. Yeah, that's probably an error. Well spotted. Thank you.
32 years later, we've spotted these errors that
Yeah.
we knew how long we sat in the edit suite, guys, and looked at these pictures, and that's the first time we've seen that.
These are the singles that I find distressing to watch. Not that there, it's too profiling. If only we got a camera, maybe we should have stuck a camera through the mirror at that point.
Now, the bit I was going to mention about Antoinette's point was, we've gone past it, was where was the contraceptive jelly. You can see Craig mouthing it in the background.
Lost the stars in the window there. That's because it's got flare on it from an overhead lamp. They'll reappear in the next two shots. There, they're back.
Somebody asked as well, did I ever listen to those while you sleep hypnosis? Like, just once. And yeah, I didn't get any sleep.
Oh, scroll down, 68 new message.
Guys, what scene are you on? Because I lost sync for a moment.
We're
the two
rimmers together.
As Chris walked through the door, he just touched the door jamb, which of course he shouldn't do as a hologram.
5 minutes.
Oh, the shot was so, the synchronous saluting was so good. We thought, hell, I'll stick with that tape.
Somebody asked an interesting question. Why did we dress them in the same uniform? Was that just for speed of shooting?
A, that, yes, and B, yeah, no, because if you have a split screen, you shoot one side of it and then the camera is locked. So then the actor has to go on the other side of the screen and perform the other half of it. If they have to go off for a costume change, the chances of us losing the split screen are pretty big. And also, it means you can't do anything else with the camera. It's stuck there until they're ready.
Remember on Happy Families, we had to do a 5-way split screen with Jennifer Saunders just for one scene at the very end.
Wow.
She played 5 characters in a thing that Ben Elton wrote called Happy Families, which was actually the budget that was allocated to Red Dwarf in the first place. And then we didn't do Happy Families 2 and Red Dwarf got the budget. But on that one, we did a 5-way split screen on film. So you exposed the film.
Aye.
Times. I can tell you that was a tense and complete costume and makeup change. He was playing 5 people.
Ooh.
So the split in this 3-shot here is in between the two rimmers. So it's probably just in front of the scutter's cloth. Dangerously close. We like to play dangerously close to the splits to try and make them look more realistic. Yeah, so the split would be just on the edge of that cupboard in front of the scutter's, the back scutter's duster.
That chimp painting, that was a big hit painting at the time.
Was it?
Everybody had one. Horrible. And here comes Danny doing his one-man show.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah. So this whole episode would never have been done, Rob, if you'd stuck to your original idea of bringing back Kachansky at the end of the previous episode.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody's, as David Wallace is asking, was Chris encouraged to play the two rimmers differently? He did that. I think, honestly, we've been waxing eloquent about these guys' performances. I think in this show, they really are zinging. Both of them play it brilliantly. And a great acting is, of course, you go through the thought process of what your character is thinking, and you can see Chris doing that a lot in this. He's very, very good. You
know, the more we see this, guys, I think we really had a huge benefit from having that first season cancelled. Because they lost the whole thing. We'd all knew what we were doing. You got the chance to write a completely new episode that you hadn't.
Yes, the important thing, of course, was we got to write it after having worked with them.
Exactly. So this one, I think, shows you beginning to react to what you knew they could do because you'd spent 6 weeks rehearsing with them.
Yeah.
And I think for the actors as well, they knew it so well, apart from this one script, of course, which they hadn't rehearsed before because it wasn't written when we tried to mount the first series.
To answer the question, were the stand-ins for the second rimmer? Yes, quite often the floor or the production manager would stand in on the other split for eye lines, and then obviously they'd be wiped out on the second part of the recording. VHS again. Oh, God.
Cat on Roller Skates, first example of actors' skills informing the script. It's an example. Before that, you know, all this drinking and slobbing about that Craig does. That's from observation, honestly.
That was the actor informing the writing, was it, Rob?
It was.
Certainly Danny mentioned that he could. Well, in fact, Danny used to roller skate around the rehearsal room, didn't he?
Yeah.
And we said, oh, we'll put that in.
What discipline?
The effect you're about to see, at the time, this was really quite hard to do, because what we had to do is to spin the tape forward in the edit and then film the spin forwardness, which means getting a camera into the edit, because it was difficult to do it any other way in those days.
Oh my God. Did not know that. I love this. I mean,
a beta cam, you're right, it could be a beta cam. Actually, no, I don't know about. It wasn't beta cam, was it? It was VHS.
Yeah, BSC and SSC. I always thought it was really funny. Didn't really get a laugh there. I thought that was hilarious.
This was one of the laughs you were laughing you didn't get on.
Yeah.
Those of you who've dealt with writers for a long time will know that there's always at least 50% laughs that don't land.
You know it's true on this.
Yeah, I do. On this, I know it's true.
Talk us through the significance of this shot.
This is from Citizen Kane. It's a parody of Citizen Kane and Rosebud, where the mystery is, what does Rosebud mean? And we did a lot of film stuff. I got that, by the way, that snowball with the Red Dwarf in. I got the smashed Red Dwarf.
Excellent.
Yeah, I don't know where it is now. There he is. Here
he is, roller skating. Brilliant.
I think he'd probably been in Starlight Express, hadn't he?
He had, yeah. He'd been in Starlight Express, so he could roller skate without doubt.
We've got people raising hands. I don't know what to do about that. What do you do?
He also turned up to rehearsals once on a unicycle, which
yes, yeah. Will the Horn 2 have a book version, Rob?
Seb is asking, Ed, do you think the kind of split screen work done in this episode is a lost art and it can be so easily done in computers?
No, I still do it occasionally. I mean, I did it recently. You can do it very effectively. If you've got explosions, looks much better on screen now than it used to on video. So I did one recently with an actor, had him reacting to a fireball going off in his face. And it worked really well. I think we use it a lot more, but for there's less obvious reasons to do it. This is such a good way of doing it. It's basically a script written around the fact that they know that this effect can be done. So,
yeah, I was going to say, actually, because I'd forgotten about this, because I wanted to see what the missing scenes were, because I remember them being really funny. And we wrote this series on an Amstrad 5112. Can you believe? Remember the pagination used to go like this. If you change the word, it took like a minute for the screen to refresh. Bloody nightmare. Hello, Robert Van Schreien from Germany.
This is his arm. We spent a lot of fun in the dub doing that.
Did the production ever actually have the gazpacho soup embarrassment? Did it actually happen to you?
Yes, it actually came. We were working for Thames for the big top variety show with Bernie Clifton. And we went to the executive lunchroom, and I'd never had. It was a cold melon soup, actually. And I was looking over at Doug thinking, no, is this supposed to be cold? I don't know. I don't want to make a fuss. And that's where it came from, the gazpacho thing. Yeah,
so
actually.
It was a real moment.
Yes.
Ocean Grey.
Oh, Bonan Matenon. That was Esperanto.
Esperanto, presumably, yeah. He studies it at one point earlier, doesn't he? Rob, is there going to be a novel of Quando Horn?
That's in preparation. The paperback for the first one's only just coming out in a couple of weeks. So,
that T-shirt he's wearing, Rob, that is the same character that we see later on in the cinema.
Yeah, Muggs Murphy. We thought of the idea of the "Don't shoot" slogan, but somebody's made some Muggs Murphy cartoons in this, haven't they?
Yeah,
we had. I don't know how you did it. It was pretty good. The title, obviously, that's easy enough, but I think Muggs himself is there.
I think the Esperanto thing was just a throwaway joke in an earlier episode where he's studying everything he can, but actually Esperanto was more of a thing in the 80s, wasn't it? I mean, it was a slight hope that it might...
Well, here's something that I've never let out before. It's actually a tribute to Harry Harrison, who's one of my favourite sci-fi authors. And he was very big on Esperanto. He thought Esperanto was the way forward for a lingua franca. And so it was out of respect to him, we made the second language on the ship Esperanto. And there are Esperanto signs all over the place.
Yeah, yeah. You hardly hear it mentioned these days, whereas when I was in school in the 60s, you could actually study Esperanto. I mean, it was a...
Yeah, it used to, but nobody ever bothered. Those signs, Ed, they're a bit big in comedy, aren't they?
Yeah, in hindsight. At the time, they were hilarious.
Yeah, Rimmer's Diary. There's a local Esperanto group in Molly McDade.
Molly's got a local Esperanto group in her city. Well, good luck to you.
Where is that, Molly? Is that... I got a feeling it's Ireland. Is it Ireland? No, maybe that's just your name. Oh, Southampton. So you're not in Dublin's fair city?
Molly Malone, I think, not Molly McDade.
Yeah, I mean, it was... You're right, Robert. It's everyone speaks English is the lingua franca, and... of course, there's no incentive over here to change that, is there? Will there be any more Red Dwarf books? Who knows? I would like to think, yeah.
Dispatches, here we go.
Did we buy the clothes pre-slobbed or something, or did we just let Craig have them for a couple of days?
This is a great gag. I love this.
Jackie Pink's worked extensively on them, to get them looking like that.
That's a nice suit he's got on there.
Yeah. The fact that he's done something in Arnold Rimmer's boots is...
Now, this sequence, you probably, most of you know this, Holly's interjection here, that was originally, we did that trope in Dave Holland's Space Cadet, which was the radio source of Red Dwarf from Son of Cliche. A Red Dwarf diary. Yeah, Chris, a Rimmer diary would be brilliant.
So when the disguise goes on, Norman had to do it pretty quick to get it on in time because we didn't want to interrupt the flow. So he's not got it on there. No, it's a little while yet.
So he literally sat in his booth and stuck it on himself.
Yeah, well, there was no other way really because it was a live performance.
Yeah,
he had to do it in the flow of it. In rehearsals, I think he stuck the thing in his eye at one stage, but we got it. We got there in the end.
Swarajit Das is asking, did we always know how different the story in the novel was going to be? No, but we always had a policy of not being tied down by what we'd already done if we thought it would improve the series, which is why we had sort of wholesale changes in season 3.
I think you've always been quite good at that. You don't let it restrict you if you want to.
Yeah.
Hey, well done, Norm. Got it on time. I remember sighing a the sigh of relief when we cut up the shot.
And it was there. Yeah, you've never let yourself get kind of bound down by that, Rob, which I think is a good thing because I don't think it spoils the enjoyment at all.
No.
It's quite fun for some fans to notice very tiny little...
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to, completely go against the mythos, but you don't get tied down if it's not working.
Now, this was a hard scene for Chris because it's a long scene, bish bash, back and forwards, 2 different characters, and in the 2 shot, it was hard for him to come in at the right time. Occasionally, there's a little gap in between one and the other in the 2 shots. Obviously, with the singles, we can cut hard to it.
This is weird, isn't it? Because they're both Rimmer, but you feel sorry for the old Rimmer, don't you?
Yes, oh, you definitely throughout this episode.
Being bullied.
So when it's a lovely twist at the end when Lister actually rescues the old Limmer, because you think for a horrible second that we're going to get this new nasty one.
Mr. Gazpacho.
Yeah, the inspiration for the episode was just the question as to whether or not you'd get on with yourself. And somebody asked me at the beginning of the show, would I get on with a hologram of myself under lockdown conditions? And the answer is no. I would strangle myself. I mean, God knows how my wife hasn't strangled me, but I wouldn't at all get on with it.
When you originally wrote the end of what you thought was the cliffhanger of the two Rimmers, was it always your intention to come back with a double Rimmer, or were you just going to wipe that off and get on with things?
No, that was the plan. Yeah, we changed it to accommodate, and I'm quite pleased that we started this episode without just replicating that scene and explaining where it came from, because it doesn't need it, does it?
No.
It's even covered in Ollie's opening thing. I think that's quite mature of us.
Home sweet home on his pajamas.
I love his nice crisp pajamas. People are saying they are lovely, aren't they? Nice crisp pajamas, but so Rimmer.
You filthy piece of dissected random. Yeah, you're right. That's a great line. I think actually the audience groaned at that. I'm not sure why.
That's what do we think about the film Passengers? Saying it was almost a copy of Red Dwarf, but with a bigger budget. I liked it. It was fun.
Here it comes. It's the orders. One or two little oohs in there. A little much for them.
Chris is acting here. He's great. He's trying to keep it from Lister, but his heart's broken. It's really clever.
One of my favourite model shots. I love this.
Mushik dropped his soup when he said that. Oh God! And there we have Tony. Our lovely Tony.
Hawk's first appearance.
Yeah, we're coming to another difficult scene here, Ed, aren't we?
Yeah, and I can point out a few errors I've made if you like. It was actually during the shooting of this, editing of this, that Jeff Posner walked into my edit suite, looked at it and went, "Oh, this is funny." And he went, "Oh, you crossed the line there, and there, and there," then left the edit suite.
Jeff Posner, legendary multi-camera director.
Yeah, irritatingly right.
Completely chopped your legs off it.
Yeah, I know. Very annoying. I'll get him back one day.
The cat drinking milk in the wine glass. Yeah, that's true. That was a joke. But of course, cats are lactose intolerant. Did you know that?
No.
How weird is that? Louise Pope is saying it's strange how close to lockdown their situation is.
Yeah.
No matter how much space Lister has, he doesn't have contact with any of his friends, a roommate he can't touch, and now he has to listen to his neighbours argue. You're having a good time. Oh, I missed that. There was a snippet of Mugs then.
Yeah, I
Do
mean,
you remember how they did it? Was it Peter? Who was the graphics guy?
graphics guy up in Manchester did it. I think it was really good.
Do you remember who it was?
I can't
Do
now.
you remember what he looked like? Man?
Yeah, he was not quite as good looking as me and Paul. So there's a first split screen. That's a tricky one. That's sort of traveling just in front of the knee of the back rimmer for the back shot.
This is incredibly complicated stuff to do on old-fashioned.
Split that. I'm looking at it now. That's a tough one. See, Danny and Craig have been ordered to stay very still.
And I'm not sure where you do cross the line, Ed. I'm sure Jeff's right because he's a genius, but I'm not sure you crossed it.
Well, I'm flat on here. And as he comes down to here.
But there you are. You've got two rimmers being rimmer, but you can tell which is which. You can tell which is the old one and which is the new one. That's Chris.
Yeah, that is Chris.
That's crossing the line there. Went from back to front. But it's not that bad.
No, it really isn't. It's just Jeff's eye is extraordinary, isn't it?
London Jets team idea, that was ours. The logo came from the same graphic guy, I think.
Who was graphics on this?
Name.
What?
Now, this is a point where it's my fault here. If you look at Craig, his right arm, he's deliberately holding it in to avoid the split, which is running along the The
Oh,
picture.
yeah, yeah.
And
Actually,
he's leaning slightly to one side. In fact, Paul, you mentioned it. He went, "Oh, look, he's frightened of the split head." It's probably, I said, "Whatever you do, don't cry." And so
before it, he's carrying it like
way.
a stroke, isn't it? It's like a stroke arm. He's carrying his.
He's leaning towards.
This is one of my favourite lines. I've been nippy dippy to death. Gets nothing. Emily agrees with me. Yeah.
Luckily, you don't get paid on the laugh. Or you get paid by the minute.
Ian Bate was graphic designer at BBC. Was in the late 80s. Was it? It doesn't ring a bell. It must be on the titles, actually, wasn't it?
I'm not sure I'm not sure graphics get the credit on the title.
Yeah, probably. My title's finished early because it's Amazon.
I hate that when they muck up the titles. You can't watch them. We'll watch through at the end. I've got it on DVD, so.
Another good split here, and yeah, lovely.
Now, You Great Nancy, that doesn't sound like us. I think Chris must have done that after having seen the uniform. We don't see that screening room much. It was mugged up for the occasion, wasn't it, from something else?
Yeah, yeah, it was a pre-record, obviously, because of all the splits. And
at least once before in this series, though, haven't we?
We've used it for various other pre-record sets as well.
Yeah, that timing on the 12 years out service, just that hesitation at the last one, like you can't quite remember. That's great.
This is where you first discover that Rimmer can have drinks. You think, why didn't you take advantage of that before?
Apparently we did a coin flip in the book, not Ippy Dippy. I don't know, because it wouldn't read as well. You know, you have to change things for print. It's just...
They're vastly superior to the VHS. You're right.
That's a lovely touch of prefect badges, which has been picked up by one of the viewers of the prefect.
Well, yeah.
It's sweet, aren't they? Head boy and first prefect or whatever it is.
There we go. Just Spaccio story.
Yes, this series wasn't repeated again for like 7 years.
Oh, was it that long?
Yeah.
Well, why? We repeated series 2 before 3, but left one out, did we?
Yeah, I don't know why. I can't remember now. I know the video didn't come out until quite late on, and as a consequence, sold very well.
So Craig is nice in the background. Craig is mirroring he's acting it very well. Somebody who is sort of sympathetic, but equally dead keen to find out what the hell Gestapo is. He's doing it really well.
He is. He's listening. Look at him. Don't forget, these boys, you know, are pretty novice actors. It's incredible.
No, I keep saying that. But I do think we got that massive advantage of doing it all once. And
I was laughing at this instead of climbing up and down rope because he does seem fucking useless.
Look at Craig in the background, half wishing he'd shut the hell up, and the other half encouraging to keep talking.
Soundtrack to the episodes released on audiobook. Oh.
Yeah, the cat's funny line there. I'm right.
Someone's questioning the age if he'd done 12 years service. We thought he was about 32, joined up.
Oh, Mark Allen was graphic design. Yeah, I remember him now. You're right.
Got it, yeah?
Yeah, he's good.
Yes, well, that's...
He's good.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you.
He was really into it.
It was Mark Allen, yeah.
He was really into it.
Oh, yes.
You remember?
Yeah. He's a good guy. He's really into it. Came up with some great ideas.
One of the lovely things about doing this show, all the crew, all the craft team loved it and brought in ideas. I would think those 2 prefect badges on the uniform are Jackie Pinks's idea, aren't they?
Yeah, I expect so.
You know, all the team just loved doing it and chipped in with ideas, just wanting to make it the best they possibly could.
Did we ever consider using another hologram in for an episode? Do you mean swapping out for Rimmer? I think we considered it, but really this is about the 2 of them, isn't it? I mean, it's...
Yeah. Now, in this, I don't know if you know, I'm sure it's in some of the outtakes, but literally 2 frames after Chris is single, he corpses, and he never did it, ever before. It's in one of the outtakes, I'm sure. But literally, I cut off him just as he starts to laugh. He's never done it before.
Oh, there he is, Mark Allen. There you go. He is
coming up now.
I didn't.
Yeah, yeah.
It is just, I had to take it literally to the last frame of the look.
Yeah, oh my God. That's a good end. That's a porridge end.
Yeah.
Super.
That's a good end. And a good end to the first season. And I can't understand why they didn't repeat it for so long, Rob. I don't know.
I think we discouraged them.
Did we?
Yeah.
We'd love to repeat an episode series before the second series goes out, but there you go.
I think we just thought we could do it better, you know, that we'd made our mistakes. And, you know, this whole series has been quite a journey for me because I haven't seen it in so long. I'm very, very proud of those shows. And I'm very proud of everyone who worked on them and cared for them. And
Well, I said it before, but when you think of the richness of the ideas in these 6 episodes, the density of the creation that's going on, the quality of the writing, the quality of the gags, the quality of the performances, the art and craft that's going in. I mean, we were very, very lucky. It was a golden period at the BBC in the 80s, and we were very lucky to be the beneficiaries of it and have you guys, writers and cast, at the peak of your powers, you know.
yeah.
Absolute joy to do and be involved in.
Yeah, and they were incredibly busy and complicated and tricky to do. And it's sort of like, you know, if you said, do you think you could do that series again now? I'd probably go, without falling over and dying.
Young and foolish, Ed. You even younger than me, but we were young and foolish.
What were the figures like for that first season? I think we got quite a good opening and then tailed off but maintained. I think at about 4 million.
I mean, in those days, I think they were around 3 million, which in those days was okayish.
Yeah, now it would be, God will bite your hand off.
Reviews for Future Echoes really kind of set the pace of people accepting it. There was a reviews on Future Echoes. Our second show.
Apparently, Mark Warner, the original VHS, said on the cover it was never to be repeated on TV.
Well, maybe
That was a lie.
The thing about not wanting, I seem to remember. Am I right, Rob? Doug was never. We always had that Blake 7 comment sort of swinging around a little bit from Doug, which I never agreed with. But I think he had a slight feeling that actually the design wasn't exactly where he wanted it to be. Is that right?
Probably. I mean, I didn't really much care. It's all about the.
Lovely. No, I think
it's all about the scripts for me.
I'm just wondering if maybe you two didn't really want the first one to go out again, but now you look at it again.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Brilliant it's become.
Yeah, you see, William started watching when she was 7 as well. Oh, it says never had been repeated, not never to be repeated. A correction from.
Yeah, never repeated, never. Sorry, it's jumping around. Yeah. No.
No, it certainly has been. But maybe not in that first run. So, guys, that's it. That's the end of season 1.
Yeah, and we wanted to ask you, while you're here, if you would be interested in. Oh, thanks, Siri. God, I can't stand that. Whether or not you'd like us to do at 1 again. We did it at DJ. Oh.
The reason we started on Ep 2 this time, guys, is because we did Ep 1 at Dimension Jump in Nottingham.
Oh, there's Universal. Yes, we'll do next. We'll do Ep 1 next.
Ep 1 then. Racketing up, shooting up. Yes, yes, yes.
Ian or Seb or Shelley or Joe, do we have a recording of the Dimension Jump thing so we don't, you know, so we know what we said? But anyway, we'll talk to you. We've got work for you guys later anyway.
We'll talk to you after, but so okay, we'll do episode 1.
Just to be a dissenter.
Yeah, I get that. It pleases my sense of completenessness.
Yeah, but we won't do it next week, Rob, because
big announcement, huge thing. We're doing a special mid-season break show, which is Lockdown Theatre. And what we've done is we've got every writer has a beautiful script that never got made. And it's not seen the light of day, and it's like an unadopted, abused pet, never going to get out. And we've got James Hendry, Oscar-winning screenwriter, also wrote Epideme, I think. wrote a script for Grant Naylor called Events and Moments, which is an absolute. It's criminal. It never got made. It's kind of the anthology series it was written for will never happen because it's because Black Mirror basically. But what we've done is we have assembled an absolutely stellar cast. I mean,
seriously,
huge names to agree to do a table reading live for you guys. And we're going to do that next week instead. Honestly, it's going to be a real treat. We're all very excited.
Is it worth mentioning, Rob, that it's a science fiction script? Worth mentioning? Keep the fans,
Guys, we will be sending that invite out very shortly. We'll let you have the cast list as soon as we can. You certainly won't have to turn up on Sunday wanting to see who it is. We just need to finalise everything and make sure everybody's happy to have their names put out there.
They're huge stars.
Some familiar names and also some new friends joining us from other spheres of shows we've done. But it's we're delighted with the people we've managed to get together, and everybody has said yes. So that will be 2:00 next week. Get your invites in first, because once these names start to go out and their Twitter feeds start to say they're doing it, I think there may be an even bigger request for tickets. And as you know, I think I'm right, Rob, there's 500 maximum on this.
Yeah, on this platform.
So once the invite goes out, guys, get yourself in quick, because what we'll probably do, just to warn you, if we do get many more requests, we'll issue more than 500 invites, but it'll be fast, and the system won't take any more. So,
do they have to sign up again? Probably not. We'll probably keep you. But honestly, if you can't make it, please sort of temporarily unsubscribe so you don't take a ticket or something.
Very important, guys, because we do expect a slightly higher.
It's going to be a hot ticket, let me tell you.
It's going to be a hot ticket. So if you really can't make it, please don't just let the subscription roll over and then not use it, because I do think it will be sold out, so to speak. So.
Yeah, of course, you guys all get first priority. This is for you. We're doing this for
you, absolutely.
Our Red Dwarf family. I started out doing this thinking, we'll entertain the prisoners, why not do it? And it's become my social life. It's a fantastic way. Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, so just to say that next week's is quite a big deal. We've done quite a bit of work on it. I think you'll be pretty impressed by what we produce. It's going to be, providing Zoom doesn't break down, even if it doesn't matter, but I think this is going to to be pretty impressive. You're not going to miss it. You're not going to want to miss this. This is going to be good.
I agree with all that, but don't say it up front, guys. Let them decide. I think it's going to be fabulous, but it may not be.
Okay, want to thank again, just before we go, our web team, Seb, Patrick, and Andy Neal, and
Will it go up on YouTube afterwards? Almost certainly not, guys, because there's 10 or 12 very talented artists involved, and the contractual thought of trying to get them all to agree to have it put up on various platforms. This will almost certainly be a one-off live event.
A live event, like it's a theatre. It's lockdown theatre.
Yeah.
So only you will see it. Yes. Sorry, I was going to thank Ian Sims and Symes and Joe Sharples and
Shelley.
And just to say, I'm going to leave you with this. Don't forget, this Wednesday, 6:30, Radio 4, Quandahorn 2. Very exciting.
Good cast there, mate. Fabulous cast.
It's a great cast, isn't it?
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
Kevin Eldon, what a comedy genius.
Oh, I love Kevin.
James Fleet, Ryan Sampson, but they're brilliant. They are.
Yeah, they're all good.
And if you haven't seen them, you can check it out. If you haven't listened to the first series, you can get it on BBC Sounds anytime for the next 5 years, apparently, for which they pay me, a lot of pence, like 7 or 8.
Very good. Any advice? Can I give my advice, or are you going to do advice?
Give your advice. This is
to people about wearing hats. if you're wearing a hat like I am, and somebody says, "Hey Ed, that's a really stupid hat," my advice is wear another one underneath. Now this actually isn't a hat. This is a snood. But if you wear it like this, I've been told that I look like an old biker, which is great because that's actually what I am. And if somebody says, "Ed, that hat's even stupider than the original one," put on the most stylish hat you've got. This one here, you can't go wrong. Turkish.
I like the biker look, Ed. What's the American TV series about the bikers called? You look like a guy from, oh, come on guys, what's it called?
Hell's Grannies. That's what you reminded me of.
Shit.
Was what I was thinking of. What did you say, Rob?
Hell's Grannies.
Hell's Grannies. No. Sons of Anakin.
Yeah, you see, anything to try and make himself
Really changes
to make Rob look more attractive.
That bandana completely changes you. You do look like something out of Breaking Bad. Or...
We did miss the salute last week, by the way, so we've got to do again the double rimmer.
Okay, double.
That's 6 rotations. But first, you got advice for surviving the lockdown, Paul?
No, not really. Did anybody? Just for my own satisfaction, I'd forgotten how much I loved Rich Jenny's stand-up. Did anybody check him out? Did people share my view? I think he's one of my favourite stand-up comedians, so I just asked that question.
Yeah, brilliant. Mike.
Good. I'm glad.
Great.
Necessarily his best work.
CrossFit is great. Very good. Okay.
Oh, nice, guys. Thank you for doing that. That's great.
So,
Rich is a really nice guy.
Very specialised. I mean, I'm just telling you about my likes now with Bob Dylan and so on, but I just got hold of Hilary Mantle's 3rd novel in the Wolf Hall series, The Mirror and the Light, and it is a work of genius. It's seriously, it is an absolutely stunning piece of literary writing. I'm just lost in admiration I haven't finished it yet, but God, what a wonderful, wonderful piece of writing.
It's about 800 pages long, isn't it?
But it is. The first 2 books were, fairly standard book length. This is 880 pages. So, read Ulysses first to warm you up, and then and then try The Mirror and the Light. But my God, it's a wonderful piece of writing. Really, really is.
Ed, are you standing up during these shows?
Yeah. The reason being that my computer is up on a high thing, so I'm always standing. It started when I had back trouble. Falling off a motorbike. And then I kind of got used to it, so I always stand at my desk now.
Come on,
you
guys.
are apparently now known as Easy Bider.
Yay!
Very clever, Antoine.
You are a writer, Molly McDade. I hope you're sending your work in some way. You can write.
They are good. Yeah, write that novel, write that script, guys.
Write it, Molly. We're in lockdown. If I can read 100 pages.
And I just want to say again, because I got a lot of chat from people who actually are alone in this horrible situation. And I'd just like to say to them, when you're alone, you're never alone. We're here for you. All right. A double rimmer, which is 6 circles. Is it, or is it 10? Is it 6? 10, guys.
It's 6.
10. It's 10.
You're saying 10.
And 1, 2, 3. Quick down. Okay, that's for all the frontline workers, all the NHS people, and all the technical support, including, people have to clean the toilets, which, somebody's got.
Yeah, I feel for them.
They have nothing but admiration from us. Okay. Stay safe. See you next week for Lockdown Theatre. Don't miss it.
It's a moment.
Yeah.